How many more years are you willing to lose thinking about people who already showed you they do not care about your peace? You may have removed them from your phone, your home, or your daily life, but they still live inside your thoughts. One memory changes your mood, one name brings back the pain, and one unanswered question keeps you trapped in the past. Buddhism teaches that freedom begins when you stop carrying people who no longer deserve a place inside you. Today, you will learn how to let them go and build a life that finally makes you happy. 1. Some people are painful because you keep expecting them to change. Sometimes your pain does not come only from what people do, it also comes from your hope that they will become different. You keep waiting for them to understand you, respect you, apologize, or treat you better, but they continue showing the same behavior. Buddhism teaches that suffering grows when you refuse to accept reality. You are holding on to the person they could become instead of seeing the person they truly are. Acceptance does not mean their behavior is right. It means you stop lying to yourself about who they are. When you stop expecting a painful person to change, you stop giving them new chances to hurt you. 2. Holding on to pain keeps the person alive inside your mind. A person does not need to be near you to keep hurting you. They only need to remain inside your thoughts. Even after they leave your life, their words, actions, and memories can continue disturbing your peace. You may have walked away from them, stopped speaking to them, or ended the relationship, but your mind may still return to what happened. You replay their words, imagine what you should have said, and create different conversations in your head. Your body has moved forward, but your mind is still standing in the same painful moment. Buddhism teaches that whatever you repeatedly focus on becomes stronger. When you keep thinking about anger, betrayal, and regret, those emotions continue growing inside you. The person may be gone, but the pain remains alive because your mind keeps feeding it. This does not mean you must forget what happened or pretend that it did not hurt. It means you should stop forcing yourself to experience the same pain again and again. When the memory returns, notice it, accept it, and gently bring your attention back to the present. Remind yourself that the event is over and you are safe now. The past has already taken enough of your time, energy, and happiness. Do not allow it to take your present peace too. 3. Forgiveness does not mean giving someone access to you again. Many people believe that forgiving someone means allowing them back into their life. They think forgiveness means trusting that person again, answering their messages, or pretending that nothing painful ever happened. But forgiveness and access are not the same. You can forgive someone and still keep your distance. You can release anger from your heart without opening the same door that brought pain into your life. Forgiveness is about freeing yourself from hatred, while boundaries are about protecting yourself from being hurt again. Buddhism teaches compassion, but compassion should also include you. Being kind does not mean allowing people to disrespect you repeatedly. A peaceful heart can still say no, walk away, and choose safety. You do not need to hate someone to remove them from your life. You can wish them well from a distance and accept that they are no longer healthy for you. Forgiveness says, I will not carry this anger forever. A boundary says, I will not give you another chance to hurt me in the same way. You can forgive them, learn from the experience, and continue your life without giving them access to your peace again. 4. You cannot heal in the same relationship that keeps wounding you. You cannot fully heal while someone continues to hurt you in the same way. You may try to stay positive, forgive them, remain patient, and hope that things will improve. But healing becomes difficult when new pain keeps replacing the old pain. A relationship should not make you feel afraid to speak, anxious all the time, or unsure of your own worth. When someone constantly criticizes you, ignores your feelings, breaks your trust, or makes you feel small, your mind never gets the peace it needs to recover. You may tell yourself that the person is not always bad. You may remember the good moments, the promises, and the love they once showed you. Because of those memories, you keep waiting for the relationship to return to how it was before. But Buddhism teaches us to see reality as it is, not only as we wish it to be. A few good memories cannot erase repeated pain. What matters is not only how someone treated you in the beginning, but how they continue to treat you now. Ask yourself honestly, do I feel respected in this relationship? Do I feel safe sharing my feelings? Can I be myself without fear? Or do I feel tired, confused, unwanted, and emotionally weak? Sometimes people stay because they believe leaving means they failed. They think love means enduring everything. But love should not require you to lose your peace, confidence, and self-respect. There is a difference between supporting someone through a difficult time and allowing them to keep harming you. Everyone makes mistakes, but repeated harm without real change is not a simple mistake. It becomes a pattern. Healing may require distance. Distance gives your mind time to become calm again. It helps you understand what happened without being pulled into another argument, apology, or false promise. It gives you space to hear your own thoughts and remember who you were before the relationship made you doubt yourself. You do not always need to leave with anger. You can leave with understanding. You can accept that someone may not be ready to change and still choose not to remain close to them. Walking away does not always mean you stopped caring. Sometimes it means you finally started caring about yourself too. You deserve relationships that help you grow, not relationships that keep reopening the same wound. You deserve people who listen, respect your boundaries, and make you feel safe. Sometimes the most loving decision is not to keep trying. Sometimes the most loving decision is to stop allowing the same pain to enter your life again. You cannot heal in a place that keeps hurting you. Create enough distance for your heart to rest, your mind to become clear, and your life to begin moving forward. 5. Being alone is better than losing yourself to keep someone. Many people remain in painful relationships because they are afraid of being alone. They know the relationship is hurting them, but the thought of losing the person feels even more frightening. They stay because they believe loneliness will be worse than the pain they are already experiencing. But staying with the wrong person can make you feel more alone than actually being by yourself. You may sit beside someone and still feel unseen. You may speak but feel unheard. You may give love, time, and effort, yet still feel as though you are never enough. When you are afraid of losing someone, you may slowly begin losing yourself. You stop saying what you truly feel because you fear an argument. You ignore your own needs because you want to keep them happy. You accept behavior that hurts you because you do not want them to leave. Little by little, you become quieter, weaker, and less connected to who you really are. You may change your personality, hide your feelings, or abandon your dreams just to keep the relationship alive. Buddhism teaches that attachment creates suffering when we believe our happiness depends completely on another person. When you tell yourself that you cannot be happy without someone, you give them too much control over your peace. Love should not force you to betray yourself. A healthy relationship should not require you to beg for attention, hide your pain, or accept disrespect. You should not have to become smaller so another person will stay. Being alone may feel uncomfortable at first. The silence may feel strange, and you may miss the person even when you know they were not good for you. This does not mean leaving was a mistake. It means your mind is adjusting to a new life. Solitude can become a powerful place of healing. It gives you time to understand your emotions, rebuild your confidence, and remember the parts of yourself you ignored. You can begin doing the things you enjoy, making your own decisions, and creating peace without waiting for someone else to provide it. You may discover that being alone is not empty. It can be calm, honest, and freeing. You no longer have to worry about someone's changing mood, mixed signals, or repeated disappointment. Your mind finally has space to breathe. Learn to enjoy simple moments by yourself. Take a walk, read, sit quietly, care for your body, or spend time in nature. These small moments teach you that peace can come from within. The more comfortable you become with your own company, the less likely you are to accept unhealthy treatment just to avoid loneliness. You stop chasing people who give you little effort. You stop begging for love that should be given freely. Being alone also helps you become more careful about who you allow into your life. You begin to understand that not everyone deserves access to your heart, time, and energy. You would rather wait for a healthy connection than return to a relationship that destroys your peace. Do not confuse missing someone with needing them. You can miss a person and still know that they are not right for your life. You can remember the good moments and still accept that the relationship was hurting you. You are not weak because you feel lonely after walking away. Healing takes time. Be patient with yourself and do not return to pain simply because peace feels unfamiliar. The right people will not ask you to lose yourself to keep them. They will respect your feelings, support your growth, and allow you to be who you truly are. Until those people arrive, choose your own company over harmful company. It is better to walk alone with peace than to remain beside someone who makes you feel invisible. Never sacrifice your identity, happiness, and self-respect just to prevent someone from leaving. Anyone who truly values you will not require you to abandon yourself. Being alone may feel difficult for a while, but losing yourself can take years to recover from. Choose the temporary discomfort of solitude over the lasting pain of staying where you are not loved properly. Last 6. Stop chasing closure from people who refuse to give it. One of the hardest reasons people remain emotionally connected to someone is the need for closure. You may believe you cannot move forward until the person explains why they hurt you, admits what they did, apologizes honestly, or gives you one final conversation that makes everything clear. You may keep waiting for them to call, send a message, or finally say the words you needed to hear. You imagine that if they explain themselves, your pain will disappear. You believe that one honest answer will help your heart become peaceful again. But sometimes that answer never comes. Some people refuse to take responsibility because admitting the truth would force them to face who they were. They may deny what happened, change the story, blame you, avoid the conversation, or behave as though your pain was not important. You may ask them why they lied, betrayed you, ignored you, or treated you without respect. Instead of giving you a clear answer, they may become angry, silent, or defensive. They may tell you that you are too sensitive, that you misunderstood them, or that you are the real problem. This can make you question yourself. You may begin wondering whether your feelings were wrong or whether the pain was really as serious as you believed. You may keep returning to the same person, hoping that next time they will finally understand. But someone who hurt you and refuses to acknowledge your pain may never give you the peace you are searching for. Buddhism teaches that suffering grows when we attach our peace to something outside our control. You can control your actions, your response, and your decision to move forward, but you cannot control whether another person becomes honest, mature, or willing to apologize. When your healing depends on their answer, you give them control over your future. You are silently saying, "I cannot be free until you decide to explain yourself." That is too much power to give someone who already hurt you. Closure does not always come from the person who caused the wound. Sometimes, closure comes from seeing the truth clearly and deciding that you no longer need anything from them. Their behavior may already be the answer. If someone repeatedly lied to you, that is information. If they ignored your feelings, that is information. If they disappeared when you needed them, returned only when they wanted something, or continued hurting you after many promises, that is information. You may not understand every reason behind their actions, but you can still understand the effect those actions had on your life. Sometimes you are not searching for an explanation. You are searching for an answer that hurts less. You want them to tell you that they cared, that you mattered, or that their behavior had nothing to do with your worth. You want the story to end in a way that protects your heart. But the truth may be that they were selfish, emotionally unavailable, dishonest, careless, or simply unwilling to love you in the way you deserved. Accepting that truth can be painful, but it is often more healing than continuing to wait for a softer answer. You may also be hoping for an apology because you want proof that your pain was real. You want them to say, "Yes, I hurt you. Yes, you deserved better. Yes, I was wrong." That apology may feel important because it would confirm what you already know. But your pain does not become real only when another person admits it. Your experience is valid even when they deny it. You do not need their permission to believe what happened to you. You were there. You felt the confusion, disappointment, anxiety, and sadness. You know how their behavior changed you. You know how many nights you could not sleep, how often you questioned your worth, and how much energy you spent trying to understand them. Their refusal to admit the truth does not erase your experience. Sometimes people avoid giving closure because they enjoy knowing you are still emotionally connected to them. They may give you small amounts of attention, send unclear messages, or return just when you begin moving on. They do not offer a real apology or a serious commitment. They only give enough attention to keep you wondering. This creates emotional confusion. One day they appear caring, and the next day they disappear. One moment they speak as if they miss you, and the next they behave as if you mean nothing. You may mistake these small signs for proof that the relationship can still be repaired. But confusion is not love. Mixed signals are not commitment. Temporary attention is not real change. A person who truly wants to repair the damage will not only speak differently, they will behave differently. They will accept responsibility, respect your boundaries, and show consistent effort. Without change, words are only another way of keeping you attached. Closure also becomes difficult when you keep replaying the final moments of the relationship. You think about what you should have said, what you could have done differently, and whether one more conversation might have changed everything. Your mind creates many possible endings because it does not like unfinished stories. You may imagine yourself speaking with confidence, finally making them understand, or hearing the apology you never received. These imagined conversations can continue for months or even years, but repeating them does not change the past. It only keeps you emotionally living inside it. The conversation has ended, even if it did not end in the way you wanted. You cannot return to the past and force someone to become more honest. You cannot make them understand what they were unwilling to understand at the time. At some point, you must stop asking the past to give you a different ending. Buddhism teaches us to accept impermanence. People change, relationships end, and some questions remain unanswered. Peace does not come from controlling every ending. It comes from learning to live without needing every answer. This does not mean you should ignore your emotions. You should allow yourself to feel disappointed, angry, or confused. Healing is not pretending that nothing happened. However, there is a difference between feeling your pain and building your life around it. Feel the emotion, understand what it is teaching you, and then slowly release it. Do not turn one painful relationship into the center of your identity. You are more than what someone did to you. You may never know why they changed, why they lied, why they stopped caring, or why they treated your love so carelessly. Their reasons may belong to their fears, wounds, selfishness, or lack of emotional maturity. Understanding every detail is not necessary for your healing. You do not need to solve the person before you leave them behind. Sometimes the strongest closure is a decision. It is the moment you tell yourself, "I have seen enough. I may not understand everything, but I understand that this relationship is not healthy for me." That decision can free you from years of waiting. You can create your own closure by writing down what happened honestly. Do not only remember the good moments, write about the broken promises, the anxiety, the repeated disappointment, and the ways you changed yourself to keep the relationship alive. When you begin missing them, read the truth again. The mind often remembers comfort and forgets pain. It may show you the beautiful beginning while hiding the painful ending. This is why you may feel tempted to return. Remind yourself why you walked away. You can also create closure by writing a letter that you never send. Say everything you wanted to say. Express your anger, sadness, disappointment, and the lessons you learned. Then end the letter with a decision to release them. You do not need their response. The purpose of the letter is not to restart the conversation. It is to remove the words that have been trapped inside you. After writing, you may keep it, destroy it, or place it somewhere private. What matters is that you allow your heart to speak. Closure also comes when you stop checking their life. Every time you visit their profile, ask others about them, or search for signs that they regret losing you, you reopen the connection. You may tell yourself that you are only curious, but curiosity can keep emotional attachment alive. You look at whether they are happy, whether they are with someone new, or whether they seem affected by the separation. If they look happy, you feel replaced. If they look sad, you feel hopeful. Either way, your peace becomes dependent on what you see. Stop searching for yourself inside their life. Their new relationship does not define your worth. Their happiness does not mean you were the problem. Their sadness does not mean you should return. What they do after losing you is no longer your responsibility. Bring your attention back to your own life. Ask yourself what you need now. Maybe you need rest, distance, support, silence, or a new routine. Maybe you need to rebuild the confidence that the relationship damaged. Use your energy to heal instead of using it to watch someone who chose not to value you. You may also need to forgive yourself. Sometimes, the closure you are chasing from another person is connected to guilt. You blame yourself for staying too long, ignoring warning signs, giving too many chances, or believing promises that were never kept. You may feel ashamed because you knew something was wrong but still remained. Be gentle with yourself. You made decisions based on what you knew, felt, and hoped at the time. You wanted the relationship to work because you cared. You believed in the person because your heart was sincere. That does not make you foolish. It makes you human. Learn from the experience, but do not punish yourself forever. Forgive yourself for the boundaries you did not have, the truth you were afraid to accept, and the love you gave to someone who could not protect it. Self-forgiveness can provide the closure another person refused to give you. There may also be moments when the person finally returns with an apology. Be careful not to confuse an apology with change. Some people apologize because they feel lonely, guilty, or afraid of losing access to you. They may say beautiful words, but after you allow them back, the same behavior slowly returns. A true apology includes responsibility. It does not blame you, make excuses, or demand immediate forgiveness. It respects your boundaries and accepts that trust must be rebuilt slowly. You are allowed to accept an apology without restarting the relationship. You can say, "I appreciate your apology, but I still choose to move forward." An apology may give you clarity, but it does not create an obligation. You are not required to reopen a door simply because someone finally knocked with better words. Remember that closure is not always a peaceful conversation between two mature people. Sometimes closure is silence. Sometimes it is distance. Sometimes it is realizing that the person who hurt you is not capable of giving the honesty you deserve. Their inability to give closure can itself become closure. It shows you that they may not have the emotional maturity needed for a healthy relationship. It shows you that continuing to wait will only create more pain. The answer may not be satisfying, but it can still be clear. The more you accept this, the more your mind will begin to release the need for one final conversation. You will understand that your peace is not hidden inside their explanation. It is hidden inside your decision to stop waiting. Every day you spend waiting for closure is another day the past remains in control. Every day you choose yourself, the connection becomes weaker. Healing may happen slowly. You may still remember them, miss them, or wonder why everything happened. These thoughts do not mean you are moving backward. Simply notice the thought and remind yourself, I do not need to answer every question today. With time, the need to understand everything will become smaller. Your life will begin filling with new routines, healthier people, and peaceful moments. The unanswered questions will still exist, but they will no longer control your emotions. That is real closure. Real closure is not always receiving an apology. It is reaching a place where you no longer need one. It is remembering what happened without feeling the need to return. It is hearing their name without losing your peace. It is accepting that the story ended badly, but refusing to let it destroy the rest of your life. You may never receive the explanation you wanted. You may never hear them admit that they were wrong. You may never know exactly why they chose to hurt you. But you can still heal. You can look at their actions and say, this was enough information for me. You can accept that some questions are not meant to be answered by the person who created them. You can give yourself the honesty, kindness, and understanding they refuse to give you. Stop knocking on a closed door, hoping the person behind it will finally become different. Stop waiting for someone who hurt you to become the person who heals you. They may have created the wound, but your healing belongs to you. Let their silence become your answer. Let their repeated behavior become your clarity. Let your decision to walk away become your closure. You do not need one more conversation to begin a new life. You only need the courage to accept what has already been shown to you. Tell yourself, I may never receive the answer I wanted, but I have received enough truth to move forward. Then move forward without guilt. Do not carry unanswered questions into every new day. Do not allow someone's refusal to explain themselves to become a prison inside your mind. Release the need to know everything. Release the hope that one apology will erase all the pain. Release the belief that your healing depends on them. Your peace is not waiting inside their words. Your peace begins when you stop waiting. 7. Build a life so peaceful that the wrong people no longer fit inside it. Letting people go is not only about removing them from your life. It is also about changing the kind of life you are creating. Many people leave a painful relationship, but they continue living in the same emotional pattern. They still wake up thinking about the person, check their messages, replay old conversations, and wait for some sign that the person misses them. The relationship may be over, but their life is still built around the pain. Real healing begins when you stop making the person the center of your story and start making your own life the center again. Buddhism teaches that peace is something you practice. It does not suddenly arrive because the wrong person leaves. You must create it through your habits, thoughts, choices, and the way you treat yourself every day. You must build a life that feels so calm, meaningful, and healthy that chaos no longer feels familiar or attractive. At first, this may feel difficult. If you have spent a long time around painful people, peace may feel strange. You may even mistake calmness for boredom because your mind has become used to arguments, mixed signals, emotional distance, and constant uncertainty. You may have become used to checking someone's mood before speaking. You may have learned to expect disappointment. You may have lived so long in emotional confusion that a quiet life feels empty. But peace is not emptiness. Peace is waking up without fear of what someone might say. It is speaking honestly, without worrying that your feelings will be used against you. It is resting without waiting for the next argument. It is knowing that your happiness does not depend on another person's attention. To build a peaceful life, begin with your daily routine. Your routine may seem simple, but it shapes your mind. The way you start your morning, the people you speak to, the content you consume, and the thoughts you repeat all influence your emotions. Protect the first moments of your day. Do not begin every morning by checking the life of someone who hurt you. Do not open old messages, visit their profile, or search for signs that they regret losing you. When you begin your day with them, you allow them to enter your mind before you have even given yourself attention. Instead, begin with silence. Take a few deep breaths, sit peacefully, drink water, stretch your body, step outside and notice the sky. Remind yourself that this day belongs to you. A peaceful life is built through small choices like these. You do not need to completely change your life in one day. You only need to stop repeating habits that keep you connected to your pain. Create a morning that makes you feel clear. Create an evening that helps your mind rest. Make your home feel calm. Remove things that keep reopening old wounds. You may need to delete messages, put away gifts, or stop listening to songs that pull you back into the relationship. You do not have to destroy every memory, but you should not surround yourself with reminders that prevent healing. Your environment affects your emotions more than you may realize. When everything around you reminds you of the person, it becomes harder to build a new life. Give yourself permission to create a new space. Move the furniture. Clean your room. Add plants, books, light, or anything that makes the place feel peaceful. Let your surroundings remind you that your life is moving forward. You should also begin caring for your body. Painful relationships often leave people mentally and physically exhausted. You may stop sleeping properly, eating well, exercising, or taking care of yourself because all your energy is focused on the relationship. When the person leaves, you may feel empty because you do not know where to place that energy. Place it back into yourself. Take walks. Rest when you are tired. Eat food that supports your body. Spend time in sunlight. Breathe slowly when your thoughts become heavy. These actions may appear small, but they send an important message to your mind. I am worth caring for. Buddhism teaches that the body and mind are deeply connected. When you treat your body with care, your mind slowly begins to feel safer. Building a peaceful life also means becoming careful about who you allow close to you. Not everyone deserves access to your private thoughts, your time, your trust, or your energy. Some people may appear kind in the beginning, but slowly begin to disturb your peace. Pay attention to how people make you feel after spending time with them. Do you feel calm, respected, and understood, or do you feel drained, confused, guilty, and unsure of yourself? Your emotions can reveal what your mind tries to ignore. Healthy people do not constantly make you question your worth. They do not punish you with silence, make you compete for attention, or disappear whenever you need support. They may not be perfect, but they are honest, respectful, and willing to take responsibility. As you become more peaceful, you must stop making excuses for people who repeatedly bring pain into your life. You may understand why someone behaves badly. They may have their own wounds, fears, or difficult past. But understanding someone does not mean you must continue suffering because of them. Compassion does not require you to remain available to harmful behavior. You can understand someone and still choose distance. You can forgive them and still protect your future. A peaceful life needs strong boundaries. Boundaries are not walls built from hatred. They are doors that you learn to control. You decide who enters, how long they stay, and what behavior is allowed. You may need to say no without explaining yourself many times. You may need to stop answering messages that only bring confusion. You may need to leave conversations that become disrespectful. At first, setting boundaries can make you feel guilty, especially if you have always been the person who keeps everyone happy. You may worry that people will call you selfish, cold, or difficult. But people who benefited from your lack of boundaries may not like the healthier version of you. That does not mean you are doing something wrong. You are not becoming cruel. You are becoming clear. You are learning that your peace should not always be the price you pay to keep another person comfortable. A peaceful life also needs purpose. When your life has no direction, your mind may return to people who hurt you simply because you have nothing meaningful to focus on. You may spend hours thinking about what they are doing because you are not building anything of your own. This is why healing should include more than rest. It should also include growth. Return to the dreams you ignored. Think about the goals you placed aside while trying to save a painful relationship. Ask yourself what you wanted before your life became centered around another person. Maybe you wanted to learn a skill, start a business, improve your health, write, travel, study, or create something meaningful. Begin again, even if you start slowly. You do not need to prove anything to the person who hurt you. Your success should not become another way of asking for their attention. Build your life because it belongs to you. Do not heal just to make them regret losing you. Heal so deeply that their regret no longer matters. When your life has purpose, you stop feeling that one person was your entire world. You begin to understand that your life contains many possibilities, many people, and many new experiences. The ending of one relationship is not the ending of your future. A peaceful life also requires a different relationship with your thoughts. You may remove the wrong people from your life, but if your mind continues repeating their words, you will still feel trapped. Perhaps someone told you that you were difficult to love, not good enough, too sensitive, weak, or unimportant. After hearing these words many times, you may have started believing them. Now the person may be gone, but their voice remains inside your mind. You must learn to question that voice. Ask yourself, is this true, or is this only something a hurtful person taught me to believe? Replace their voice with your own truth. Tell yourself that being sensitive does not make you weak. Wanting respect does not make you demanding. Having boundaries does not make you selfish. Leaving pain does not make you disloyal. Speak to yourself in a way that helps you heal. The words you repeat inside your mind become the emotional home you live in. Build that home with patience, honesty, and kindness. You will not feel peaceful every day. Some days the memory will return strongly. Some days you will miss the person, question your decision, or feel tempted to contact them. Do not judge yourself in these moments. Healing is not a straight line. Missing someone does not mean they belong in your life. Feeling lonely does not mean you should return to a relationship that harmed you. Allow the feeling to pass without acting on it. Buddhism teaches that emotions are temporary. They rise, remain for a while, and then leave. You do not need to follow every emotion. When loneliness appears, sit with it. Ask what it truly needs. Maybe you need connection, rest, comfort, or support. That does not always mean you need the person you left. Sometimes you miss the feeling of being wanted, not the person themselves. Sometimes you miss the hope of what the relationship could have become, not what it actually was. Understanding this can protect you from returning to the same pain. As you build a better life, choose people who support your peace. Spend time with those who listen without making everything about themselves. Choose friends who respect your boundaries and celebrate your growth. Healthy connections do not leave you constantly guessing. You should not have to chase basic care, honesty, or consistency. A good relationship will not remove every difficulty from your life, but it will not become the main source of your suffering. The right people will make your life feel safer, not smaller. You should also learn to enjoy your own company. A peaceful life cannot depend completely on always having someone beside you. Spend time alone without treating solitude like punishment. Read, walk, cook, listen to meaningful talks, meditate, or simply sit quietly. Learn what makes you feel alive when no one is watching. When you enjoy your own company, you become less likely to accept painful company. You stop staying with people only because you fear silence. You understand that being alone can be healthier than being connected to someone who destroys your confidence. This self-trust changes the way you choose relationships. You no longer ask only, do they want me? You begin asking, are they good for my life? Do they respect me? Do they bring honesty and peace? Can I remain myself around them? These questions protect you from becoming emotionally dependent on attention. A peaceful life is also built through gratitude. Pain can make you focus only on what you lost. You may forget everything that still remains. Each day, notice something simple that is still good. Your breath, your health, a safe place to sleep, a supportive person, a meal, a quiet morning, or another chance to begin. Gratitude does not deny pain. It prevents pain from becoming the only thing you can see. When you practice gratitude, your mind slowly learns that life still contains beauty after disappointment. You begin to feel that your future can hold more than what the past took away. Do not rush to fill the empty space with another person. After a painful relationship, you may want immediate attention because it helps you feel wanted again, but entering something new before understanding your old patterns can lead you toward the same kind of person. Use the empty space to learn. Ask yourself why you ignored warning signs. Ask why you accepted less than you deserved. Ask what fear kept you attached. Do not use these questions to blame yourself. Use them to become wiser. Sometimes people repeat the same painful relationships because they only change the person, not the pattern. They still choose people who are emotionally unavailable, inconsistent, or controlling, because that kind of love feels familiar. Healing means learning that familiar pain is not the same as healthy love. You may need to teach your nervous system that peace is safe. At first, a kind and consistent person may not feel as exciting as someone who gives mixed signals. You may mistake emotional instability for passion, but love does not need to keep you anxious to feel real. A peaceful connection may grow slowly. It may not contain constant drama, but it will offer something more valuable: safety. You will not have to earn love every day. You will not have to prove your worth or fear that one small mistake will make the person leave. As you heal, your standards will change. You will stop being impressed by words without action. You will stop trusting apologies without change. You will stop calling temporary attention love. You will look for consistency, responsibility, kindness, and emotional safety. This is how wrong people stop fitting into your life. They may still try to return. They may notice that you are calmer, stronger, and no longer chasing them. They may send messages, make promises, or remind you of the good memories. But when your life becomes peaceful, you will see the cost of allowing chaos back in. You will remember how hard you worked to rebuild yourself. You will understand that one message is not worth losing months of healing. You will stop asking whether they have changed and begin asking whether allowing them back is healthy for you. Sometimes the most powerful sign of healing is not that you no longer care. It is that you care about yourself enough not to return. You may still wish them well. You may still remember the good parts, but you will no longer confuse compassion with permission. You will know that you can love someone from a distance and still protect your peace. Build a life that gives you something meaningful to wake up for. Create goals that belong to you. Create routines that support your mind. Build relationships based on respect. Make your home a place where your body can relax. Become someone who no longer sees suffering as proof of love. The wrong people fit easily into an empty life because they quickly become the center of it. But when your life is filled with purpose, peace, self-respect, and healthy relationships, painful people have less room to control you. Their silence will no longer destroy your day. Their attention will no longer feel like a reward. Their absence will no longer make you feel incomplete. You will know that your life remains valuable whether they choose you or not. This is freedom. Freedom is not controlling whether people stay. It is knowing you will still be okay when they leave. Freedom is not receiving perfect closure. It is no longer needing their answer to continue living. Freedom is not forgetting everything. It is remembering without allowing the memory to control you. A peaceful life does not mean that nothing painful will ever happen again. It means you will no longer invite the same pain repeatedly. You will recognize warning signs earlier. You will trust your feelings. You will walk away when respect disappears. You will stop waiting for people to become different while your happiness slowly disappears. Buddhism teaches that everything changes. The pain you feel now will also change. The loneliness will change. The memories will lose their power. But you must help this change happen by choosing habits that support healing. Every peaceful choice is a brick in the new life you are building. Every boundary makes the foundation stronger. Every day you do not return to the same pain, you prove that your future matters more than your attachment. Do not build your life around the hope that someone will come back and finally love you correctly. Build it around the truth that you can love yourself correctly now. Give yourself the care, patience, and respect you kept asking from others. Celebrate small progress. Maybe today you did not check their profile. Maybe you spent one peaceful hour without thinking about them. Maybe you said no without guilt. Maybe you enjoyed your own company. These moments matter. Healing is not always one great decision. It is often many small decisions repeated until they become a new way of living. One day, you will look back and realize that the life you feared living without them has become more peaceful than the life you had with them. You will realize that losing the wrong person did not ruin your future. It protected it. You will understand that some endings are not punishments. They are openings. They create space for new habits, healthier love, stronger boundaries, and a deeper relationship with yourself. Do not fill that space with the same kind of pain. Fill it with purpose. Fill it with peace. Fill it with people who respect your heart. Fill it with a version of yourself that no longer begs to be chosen. Build a life so peaceful that dishonesty feels immediately uncomfortable. Build a life so honest that manipulation cannot survive inside it. Build a life so full of self-respect that you no longer negotiate with disrespect. Let your peace become your standard. The wrong people may call you different. They may say you have changed. They will be right. You have changed because pain taught you what you can no longer accept. You have changed because healing showed you the value of your own life. You are no longer available for relationships that require you to abandon yourself. You are no longer impressed by people who only appear when it is convenient. You are no longer available for relationships that require you to abandon yourself. You are no longer available for relationships that require you to abandon yourself. This does not mean your heart has become hard. It means your heart has become wise. You can remain loving without becoming easy to hurt. You can remain compassionate without accepting harmful behavior. You can remain open while still having boundaries. That is the balance Buddhism teaches. Do not build a life that only looks happy from the outside. Build one that feels peaceful when you are alone. A peaceful life is not measured by how many people surround you. It is measured by how calm your mind feels when no one is there. It is measured by your ability to sleep without fear, speak without pretending, and live without constantly seeking approval. Make that kind of peace your goal. The wrong people will naturally struggle to remain in a life built on truth, responsibility, and self-respect. They may leave because they can no longer control you. They may become uncomfortable because your boundaries expose their behavior. Let them leave. Anyone who requires your weakness to remain close to you is not someone you should fear losing. Your task is not to make everyone fit into your life. Your task is to build a life that protects what is most valuable inside you. Build slowly. Build honestly. Build with patience. There will be days when you feel strong and days when you feel uncertain. Keep choosing peace anyway. You do not have to become completely healed before you begin living. Your new life can grow while you are still healing. Take one peaceful step, then another. Stop asking how to make the wrong people stay. Begin asking how to create a life that makes their absence feel like freedom. When your life becomes full of meaning, you will no longer chase those who bring confusion. When your heart becomes full of self-respect, you will no longer beg for basic love. When your mind becomes peaceful, you will no longer call chaos home. Build that life. Build it with calm mornings, honest relationships, meaningful goals, strong boundaries, and deep respect for yourself. Build it so carefully that anyone who brings constant pain can no longer find a comfortable place inside it. Let the wrong people go. Then use the empty space to create a life that makes you grateful they did. 8. Stop waiting for painful people to give you permission to be happy. Many people delay their happiness because they are still waiting for someone from the past to change. They are waiting for an apology, a message, an explanation, or one final sign that proves they mattered. You may tell yourself that you will finally move forward when they admit what they did. You may believe you will feel peaceful when they understand how deeply they hurt you. You may hope that one day they will return, take responsibility, and give you the ending you deserved. But while you wait for them to change, your own life remains paused. You wake up thinking about what they might do. You check your phone, replay old conversations, and imagine how you would respond if they returned. Even when nothing is happening, your mind remains emotionally connected to them. This means your happiness is still depending on someone who already brought pain into your life. Buddhism teaches that suffering grows when we attach our peace to things we cannot control. You cannot control whether another person becomes honest, emotionally mature, or willing to admit their mistakes. You cannot force them to understand your pain. You can only choose what you do with your own mind, time, and future. You do not need their permission to be happy again. You do not need them to say that you deserved better. You do not need them to agree that leaving was the right decision. You do not need them to regret losing you before you begin rebuilding your life. Your life belongs to you, even if they never understand what they did. Sometimes you wait because you believe their apology will remove the pain. You imagine that if they finally say, "I was wrong," everything inside you will become calm. An apology may bring some comfort, but it cannot return the time you lost. It cannot erase every sleepless night, broken promise, or moment when you questioned your worth. Real healing begins when you stop expecting the person who caused the wound to become responsible for your recovery. They may never give you what you need. This may feel unfair. You may think, they created this pain, so why should I be the one doing all the healing? It is unfair, but your healing is still your responsibility. Not because you caused the pain, but because you deserve to be free from it. Waiting for them to repair everything keeps your life connected to their choices. Healing yourself returns that power to you. You are not healing to protect them from responsibility. You are healing to protect your future from their behavior. Some people continue waiting because they want justice. They want the person who hurt them to feel the same pain. They want them to lose sleep, regret their decisions, and understand what it feels like to be treated carelessly. This desire is natural. When you have been hurt deeply, part of you may want balance. You may believe that you cannot be peaceful until they suffer too. But waiting for someone's punishment can become another form of attachment. You keep watching their life, searching for proof that they are unhappy. You check whether their new relationships failed, whether they look lonely, or whether life has finally taught them a lesson. Your mood begins depending on what you discover. If they appear happy, you feel angry and forgotten. If they appear unhappy, you feel satisfied for a moment, but your peace still depends on them. Either way, they remain the center of your attention. Buddhism teaches that hatred is like carrying fire and expecting it to burn someone else. The longer you hold it, the more it damages your own mind. You do not have to wish them happiness. You do not have to excuse what they did. But you must stop making their suffering necessary for your healing. Their consequences belong to life. Your recovery belongs to you. A person may appear happy after hurting you, but you do not know what is happening inside them. You also do not need to know. Their life is no longer your responsibility. Instead of waiting for them to receive pain, focus on building peace. This is the strongest way to take your power back. When you become peaceful, their choices lose the ability to control your emotions. Their success no longer makes you feel worthless. Their silence no longer feels like punishment. Their attention no longer feels like a reward. You become free from needing anything from them. Sometimes people believe moving forward means the painful person has won. They think that if they stop being angry, forgive, or become happy again, they are pretending that what happened was acceptable. But healing does not mean they won. Remaining trapped in pain does not punish them. It only prevents you from living. Moving forward does not erase the past. It simply stops the past from controlling your future. You can remember what happened and still choose happiness. You can acknowledge the harm and still allow yourself to laugh, love, grow, and feel hopeful again. Your happiness is not a betrayal of your pain. It is proof that the pain did not destroy you. You may also feel guilty for becoming happy without them. Perhaps they were once important to you. Maybe you shared dreams, promises, and plans for the future. When you begin enjoying life again, part of you may feel as if you are leaving them behind. You may think that moving forward means the relationship never mattered, but something can matter and still need to end. You can appreciate what was real while accepting that it is no longer healthy. You can remember the beautiful moments without returning to the painful pattern. Happiness does not mean you have forgotten them. It means you have stopped abandoning yourself for the memory of them. The mind often becomes attached to unfinished stories. You may keep waiting because the relationship did not end in a clear or respectful way. Maybe they disappeared without explaining. Maybe they replaced you quickly. Maybe they acted as though your connection meant nothing. This creates a deep emotional wound because your mind keeps searching for meaning. You wonder whether you were ever important. You question whether their feelings were real. You examine every memory and search for signs that you missed. But not every ending will provide a clear answer. Sometimes people leave badly because they do not know how to face difficult emotions. Sometimes they avoid responsibility because silence is easier than honesty. Their poor ending does not erase your sincerity. You know the love, effort, and patience you gave. Their inability to value it does not make it worthless. Stop waiting for them to confirm that you mattered. You mattered because you were sincere. Your value does not depend on how someone treated you. A person can receive something valuable and still fail to recognize it. When someone throws away a beautiful gift, the gift does not lose its worth. It only reveals the person's inability to appreciate it. In the same way, someone's decision to mistreat you does not prove that you were difficult to love. It may only prove that they were not capable of loving you with care. Do not let their limitations become your identity. Their emotional distance does not mean you were too needy. Their dishonesty does not mean you were foolish. Their failure to commit does not mean you were not enough. Sometimes people hurt others because they are confused, selfish, afraid, or emotionally immature. You do not have to understand every reason before releasing the belief that it was your fault. You may have made mistakes too. Every relationship contains two imperfect people. Perhaps you reacted with anger, ignored your own needs, or stayed silent when you should have spoken. Learn from those mistakes, but do not carry all the blame. Taking responsibility for your actions is healthy. Taking responsibility for another person's cruelty is not. A peaceful life requires honest self-reflection, not endless self-punishment. Ask yourself what the experience taught you. Maybe it taught you to trust actions more than promises. Maybe it showed you that ignoring warning signs only delays pain. Maybe it taught you to communicate clearly, set boundaries, or stop trying to rescue people. These lessons can protect your future. But the lesson is not that you should never love again. It is not that everyone will betray you. It is not that being vulnerable is always dangerous. Pain should make you wiser, not colder. You can protect your heart without closing it completely. You can become careful without becoming suspicious of everyone. The goal is not to build walls so high that no one can enter. The goal is to create standards that prevent harmful people from staying. You are allowed to become happy before every wound is completely healed. Many people believe they must wait until they no longer remember the person, feel any sadness, or experience difficult days. But healing and happiness can exist together. You may still miss someone and enjoy your mourning. You may still feel sadness and laugh with a friend. You may still carry unanswered questions and begin a new dream. You do not need to become perfectly healed before you begin living. Sometimes living is part of healing. Every time you do something meaningful, you remind your mind that life is larger than the relationship you lost. Every peaceful experience teaches your heart that safety still exists. Begin with small moments. Make yourself a good meal. Go for a walk without checking your phone. Visit a place that feels calm. Listen to something that strengthens your mind. These actions may seem simple, but they slowly rebuild your ability to experience happiness without the person. At first, happiness may feel uncomfortable. You may enjoy yourself and then suddenly remember them. You may feel guilty for laughing or wonder whether they are enjoying life too. When this happens, gently return to the present. You do not need to ruin a beautiful moment because someone from the past is not part of it. Allow good moments to remain good. Do not search for pain when peace finally appears. Some people become so used to suffering that happiness feels unsafe. They expect something bad to happen whenever life becomes calm. If you have lived around emotional chaos, your mind may remain alert even after the danger is gone. You may overthink kind words, doubt healthy people, and prepare yourself for disappointment. Be patient with yourself. Your mind learned these habits to protect you. Now you must slowly teach it that peace does not always hide danger. When someone treats you with consistency, do not immediately search for the hidden reason. Watch their behavior over time. Allow trust to grow slowly. When life becomes peaceful, do not create problems simply because chaos feels familiar. Learn to stay inside calmness. Buddhism teaches mindfulness, which means being present with what is happening now, instead of constantly living in past pain or future fear. When you notice your mind returning to the person, do not attack yourself. Simply notice the thought. Say, "This is a memory. It is not happening now." Then bring your attention to your breathing, your body, or the activity in front of you. Each time you return to the present, you weaken the connection between your happiness and the past. The memory may continue returning for a while. That is normal. Your mind repeated the story many times, so it may take time to create a new pattern. Do not measure healing by whether you remember them. Measure it by how quickly you return to yourself. In the beginning, one memory may ruin your whole day. Later, it may disturb you for only an hour. Eventually, it may appear and leave without controlling your mood. That is progress. Do not become discouraged because you still have difficult moments. You are not failing. You are learning a new way of living. Stop waiting for them to notice your growth. Sometimes people improve their lives secretly, hoping the painful person will return and see what they lost. They change their appearance, work harder, and achieve goals while imagining the person's regret. This can motivate you for a short time, but it still keeps your growth connected to them. Do not build a better life to prove your worth. Build it because you finally understand your worth. Your success does not need to become a message to the person who hurt you. Your peace does not need an audience. The most powerful transformation happens when you no longer care whether they notice. You begin exercising because you want your body to feel strong. You follow your dreams because they matter to you. You heal because you want freedom. Their reaction becomes unimportant. That is when your growth truly belongs to you. You must also stop waiting for painful people to become proud of you. Perhaps part of you still wants their approval. You want them to see your progress and admit that they underestimated you. But a person who failed to value you in pain may not suddenly know how to value you in success. Even if they praise you, their words may not fill the emptiness you expect them to fill. Approval from someone who hurt you will not create lasting self-worth. You must learn to recognize your own progress. Celebrate the days when you choose peace. Notice when you set a boundary, speak honestly, or stop chasing someone who gives you little effort. These quiet victories matter more than attention from the past. A happy life is built when you stop asking painful people to confirm that you deserve one. You deserve happiness because you are alive, not because someone approves of you. You deserve peace because your mind needs rest, not because someone finally apologizes. You deserve healthy love because you are worthy of respect, not because you proved yourself to someone who failed to see it. Do not spend your life trying to convince the wrong person that you are valuable. The right people will not need endless proof. They will see your effort, respect your boundaries, and care about how their actions affect you. Healthy love will not make you compete for basic attention. It will not make you feel that one mistake could cause everything to disappear. You may not meet the right people immediately. That does not mean you should return to the wrong ones. Loneliness can make the past appear more beautiful than it was. When you feel alone, your mind may show you only the good memories. It may hide the anxiety, confusion, and disrespect. This is why you must remember the whole truth, not only the parts you miss. Missing someone is not always a sign that you should contact them. It may simply mean you are human and adjusting to change. Feel the loneliness without turning it into a reason to return. Use it as a sign that you need healthy connection, not harmful familiarity. Call a trusted friend, spend time with family, join a community, learn something new, or create a routine that brings you around supportive people. Do not isolate yourself and then convince yourself that the painful person was your only source of connection. The world is larger than one relationship. There are people you have not met yet who will understand you in ways the past never did. There are experiences waiting for you that will make your old life feel small. But you must be willing to walk forward without knowing exactly what comes next. This requires faith. Not faith that everything will happen perfectly, but faith that you can handle whatever happens. You survived the relationship. You survived the ending. You survived the days when you believed you would never feel okay again. That means you are already stronger than the fear trying to keep you stuck. Stop asking whether you can live without them. You are already doing it. Every day you wake up, breathe, work, eat, and continue is proof that your life did not end. You may not feel strong, but strength is not always a powerful feeling. Sometimes strength is simply continuing while your heart is still learning to let go. Give yourself credit for that. You are rebuilding something inside you that another person helped break. That process deserves patience. Do not rush yourself because you want the pain to disappear. Healing is not a competition. Some days will feel light, other days will feel heavy. On heavy days, do not make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. Do not send the message simply because you miss them tonight. Do not reopen the door because loneliness feels strong. Wait, breathe, sleep. Speak to someone who understands what you experienced. The feeling will change. You do not have to obey every emotional wave. Buddhism teaches that all feelings are temporary. Even intense emotions eventually rise and fall. When you understand this, you stop treating each feeling like a command. You can feel sadness without returning. You can feel love without giving access. You can feel anger without seeking revenge. This is emotional freedom. It means your feelings are present, but they are no longer controlling every decision. Your happiness grows when you become the person who decides what enters your life. You stop allowing guilt to make you stay. You stop allowing fear to make you return. You stop allowing loneliness to lower your standards. You begin making choices based on wisdom instead of temporary discomfort. This may disappoint people who were used to controlling you emotionally. They may call you selfish because you no longer answer immediately. They may say you changed because you no longer accept disrespect. Let them misunderstand you. You do not need to explain your healing to people who benefited from your pain. Your happiness is not a group decision. You are allowed to choose distance even when someone disagrees. You are allowed to protect yourself even when they believe you should forgive and forget. Forgiveness does not remove consequences. You can release hatred and still refuse contact. You can wish someone well while keeping them far away from your life. Your boundary does not need their approval to be valid. Stop waiting for them to agree with your decision. Painful people rarely understand boundaries because boundaries limit their access to you. They may accuse you of being dramatic, cold, or unforgiving. Remember that people often criticize the boundary they can no longer cross. You know what the relationship cost you. You know how long it took to feel calm again. Protect that progress. You are not responsible for making someone comfortable with the consequences of their actions. If they wanted continued access to you, they should have treated that access with care. Do not allow guilt to turn your compassion against you. You can be compassionate without returning to danger. You can understand their pain without allowing them to create more pain inside you. Their difficult childhood, fear of commitment, or emotional wounds may explain their behavior, but explanations do not erase the impact. They are still responsible for how they treat others. You do not have to become their healer simply because you understand their struggle. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is step away and allow them to face themselves. By constantly rescuing someone from consequences, you may prevent them from learning. You are not helping them grow when you repeatedly accept behavior that harms you. You are teaching them that they can hurt you and still keep you. Distance can become a lesson for both people. It teaches them that actions have consequences, and it teaches you that you can survive choosing yourself. Your happiness begins growing when you stop confusing sacrifice with love. Love does require patience, effort, and understanding, but it should not require the destruction of your mental health. You should not have to lose sleep, confidence, and self-respect to prove that you care. A relationship that survives only because one person keeps suffering is not healthy. You do not have to continue suffering to prove that your feelings were real. Your love was real even if you leave. Your care was real even if you stop trying. Sometimes walking away is the most honest expression of self-love. It says, "I cannot control you, but I can choose what I allow around me." That choice is where happiness begins. Happiness is not always excitement. Sometimes it is relief. It is the relief of no longer waiting for a message. It is the relief of no longer explaining your pain to someone who refuses to understand. It is the relief of sleeping without wondering whether someone will suddenly leave. Peace may not feel dramatic, but it is deeply valuable. You may begin noticing that your body feels lighter when you stop communicating with certain people. You may sleep better, think more clearly, and feel less anxious. Pay attention to this. Your body often recognizes peace before your mind accepts it. You may still emotionally miss the person while physically feeling safer without them. Both experiences can be true. Do not return only because your heart remembers the connection. Listen to what your entire life is telling you. Ask whether you were healthier, calmer, and more confident around them. Ask whether their presence helped you grow or forced you to survive. Your answer can guide you when memories become confusing. Build happiness through actions that do not depend on anyone else. Do not wait for a relationship to begin before enjoying your life. Do not wait for someone to invite you before visiting places you want to see. Do not wait for approval before beginning a dream. Learn to give yourself experiences. Take yourself outside. Create something. Study a subject that interests you. Decorate your space in a way that feels peaceful. The more you create happiness for yourself, the less likely you become to depend on painful people for small moments of joy. This does not mean you should never need others. Humans need connection, love, and support. Buddhism does not teach complete emotional isolation. It teaches non-attachment, which means loving without losing yourself. You can enjoy someone's presence without believing you cannot live without them. You can care deeply while knowing that your identity remains your own. Healthy connection adds to your life. It does not become the only reason your life feels valuable. When you understand this, people can no longer control you by threatening to leave. You may feel sadness if they go, but you will not abandon yourself to make them stay. You will know that losing a relationship is painful, but losing your peace is more costly. This knowledge creates emotional strength. You begin choosing people from desire, not desperation. You stop saying, "I need you to complete me." Instead, you say, "I have built a meaningful life, and I welcome those who can share it with respect." That is a healthier form of love. It does not place the weight of your happiness on another person's shoulders. It also prevents you from accepting harmful treatment because you fear emptiness. Your life is already full of purpose, habits, dreams, and self-respect. The wrong person is no longer your entire world. They become only one part of a much larger life. Stop waiting for painful people to become different before you begin living differently. They may change one day, or they may never change. Their growth is not your schedule. You cannot spend another year delaying your happiness because someone else has not learned their lesson. Begin now. Begin before you feel completely ready. Begin while you still have questions. Begin while part of your heart still misses them. Your future does not require perfect emotional conditions. It only requires your willingness to take the next healthy step. Delete what keeps pulling you backward. Create distance from what creates confusion. Choose routines that bring peace. Speak to yourself with kindness. Spend time with people who make you feel safe. Do these things repeatedly. At first, they may feel forced. Eventually, they will become your new normal. One day, you will realize you went an entire morning without thinking about the person. Later, you will notice that several days have passed. Eventually, their name will no longer carry the same emotional weight. This is how attachment fades. It does not always disappear through one powerful decision. It often weakens through many ordinary days in which you keep choosing your own life. Do not disrespect small progress. Every time you refuse to reopen the wound, you are healing. Every time you return your attention to the present, you are becoming free. Every time you choose peace instead of proving a point, you are building happiness. You do not need the person who hurt you to witness this transformation. They do not need to understand it. Your healing is valuable, even when no one sees it. Your happiness is real, even when it is quiet. Stop waiting for their apology, regret, punishment, understanding, or return. Stop giving painful people the authority to decide when your life can become beautiful again. They do not own your future. They do not control your ability to love, grow, laugh, or feel peaceful. The part of your life they occupied has ended, but the rest of your life is still waiting. Give yourself permission to enter it. You have spent enough time looking backward. There are new mornings ahead of you, new people, new lessons, and new reasons to feel grateful. You will not discover them while standing emotionally at a closed door. Turn around. Take your attention away from the person who could not value your heart and place it on the life that still needs your care. You do not need their permission to become happy. You only need to stop waiting for it. 9. Do not carry old pain into the new life you are trying to build. Leaving a painful person is only the first step. The deeper work begins when you stop carrying the fear, anger, distrust, and emotional habits they left inside you. You may remove someone from your life, block their number, stop visiting their profile, and avoid every place where you might see them. But even after all of this, the relationship can continue living inside you. It can live inside the way you think, the way you react, and the way you treat new people. Someone from your past may have lied to you, so now you question everyone. They may have ignored your feelings, so now you expect people to stop caring without warning. They may have abandoned you, so now every small distance feels like rejection. The person is gone, but the fear they created continues shaping your life. This is how old pain quietly enters a new future. Buddhism teaches that every experience leaves an impression on the mind. When an experience is repeated many times, the mind begins treating it as a pattern. If someone disappointed you again and again, your mind may begin expecting disappointment everywhere. It may try to protect you by staying alert, suspicious, and emotionally distant. This response is understandable. Your mind learned that closeness could become dangerous. But a habit that once protected you can later prevent you from experiencing peace. You must learn the difference between protecting yourself and imprisoning yourself. Protecting yourself means noticing warning signs, setting boundaries, and leaving when someone repeatedly disrespects you. Imprisoning yourself means believing that everyone will hurt you, refusing to trust anyone, and treating every peaceful relationship like a hidden threat. Pain can make these two things feel the same. You may say, "I am only being careful," when fear is actually controlling your choices. You may reject kind people because their attention feels unfamiliar. You may hide your feelings because vulnerability once brought pain. You may walk away too quickly because you are afraid of being left first. This can make you repeat the suffering in a different form. The painful person may no longer be hurting you, but the fear they created may begin hurting the people who come after them. Someone new may speak honestly, yet you assume they are lying. They may need a little space, and you immediately believe they are losing interest. They may make a simple mistake, but your mind connects it to every painful thing the previous person did. You are no longer responding only to what is happening now, you are also responding to what happened before. The present person becomes responsible for a wound they did not create. This does not mean you should ignore your instincts. It does not mean you should trust everyone immediately. It means you must pause and ask whether your reaction belongs to the present moment or the past. When something disturbs you, ask yourself, what is actually happening right now? Then ask, am I responding to this person, or am I responding to someone who hurt me before? These simple questions can help you separate reality from fear. Old pain often speaks with great confidence. It tells you that the same thing will happen again. It says that you should leave before you are abandoned, stay silent before you are rejected, or avoid love before it becomes painful. Fear presents itself as certainty, but the future is not required to repeat the past. The next person is not automatically the previous person. A new relationship is not automatically the old relationship with a different face. You must allow people to reveal who they are through consistent behavior. Do not trust blindly, but do not accuse them before they have done anything wrong. Healthy trust grows slowly. It is created through honesty, time, respect, and actions that match words. You do not have to open your whole heart immediately. You can take small steps while watching how the person handles your feelings and boundaries. Notice whether they listen when you speak. Notice whether they respect your no. Notice whether they take responsibility after making a mistake. Healthy people will not pressure you to trust them quickly. They will understand that trust must be earned. They will allow you to move at a pace that feels safe, without making you feel guilty. However, you must also take responsibility for healing the fear you carry. A good person can support your healing, but they cannot heal every wound for you. They should not have to spend every day proving that they are not the person who hurt you. They should not have to surrender all privacy, constantly explain themselves, or answer endless questions created by old betrayal. Reassurance can be healthy, but no amount of reassurance will feel enough when the mind refuses to believe that safety is possible. At some point, you must become part of your own healing. You must notice when fear is creating stories without evidence. Perhaps someone does not answer your message immediately, and your mind tells you they are ignoring you. It tells you they are with someone else, losing interest, or preparing to leave. Your body becomes tense. You check your phone repeatedly. You may send angry messages or suddenly become cold. Later, you discover that they were simply busy. The situation was small, but the reaction was connected to a much older wound. When this happens, do not shame yourself. Shame will only create more suffering. Instead, slow down. Take a few breaths before responding. Remind yourself that uncertainty is not proof of betrayal. Give reality time to appear before creating a painful story. Buddhism teaches mindfulness, which means observing thoughts without automatically believing or obeying them. A thought may say, They will leave me, but that thought is not a prediction. It may only be fear remembering the past. You can notice it and say, "My mind is trying to protect me because I was hurt before." Then return to what is actually true in the present. Maybe the person has shown consistency. Maybe they have treated you kindly. Maybe there is no real sign that anything is wrong. Choosing reality over fear is an important part of healing. Old pain can also enter your new life through anger. You may carry resentment toward one person and release it onto everyone around you. You become easily irritated, defensive, or impatient. Small mistakes remind you of the disrespect you experienced. You react strongly because your heart has not had enough rest. Sometimes the person in front of you receives the anger that belongs to someone from your past. You may feel justified because you have been hurt, but unhealed pain can still harm innocent people. Your suffering deserves compassion, but it should not become permission to create suffering for others. You must learn to express what you feel without attacking. Instead of saying, "You are just like everyone else," explain what the moment brought up inside you. You can say, "This situation makes me anxious because I experienced something painful before. I need a little clarity." This is honest without being cruel. Healthy communication allows the present relationship to become different from the past. When you hide your fear, it may turn into controlling behavior. When you express it calmly, it can become an opportunity for understanding. You are allowed to explain your wounds, but you must not use them as weapons. You cannot control someone's friendships, movements, clothing, or entire life because another person betrayed you. Control may create temporary relief, but it does not create trust. Even if someone follows every rule you create, your fear may invent another problem. Real security does not come from controlling another person. It comes from trusting yourself to recognize disrespect and leave if necessary. This is an important change. In the past, you may have believed that safety meant making sure someone never hurt you. But you cannot completely control what another person chooses to do. True safety means knowing that if someone hurts you, lies repeatedly, or violates your boundaries, you will not abandon yourself to keep them. You trust yourself to act. This self-trust is stronger than trying to control the future. Tell yourself, "I cannot guarantee that no one will ever disappoint me, but I can guarantee that I will listen to myself and protect my peace." This thought creates strength without closing your heart. You do not need certainty before allowing yourself to live. Life always contains risk. Loving someone means accepting that you cannot control everything, but you can love with awareness. You can pay attention to behavior and remain connected to your own needs. You can care deeply without making another person your entire identity. The pain of the past becomes dangerous when you forget yourself again. Perhaps you once gave all your time and energy to someone. You stopped seeing friends, ignored your goals, and built your entire routine around the relationship. When it ended, you felt as though your whole life disappeared because you had made the person your whole life. Do not repeat this pattern. Even in a healthy relationship, keep a strong connection with yourself. Continue your goals, hobbies, friendships, and personal growth. Maintain parts of your life that belong only to you. Love should become part of your life, not the replacement for it. When you continue building your own life, you do not become emotionally empty whenever someone is unavailable. You remain a complete person. This also helps you choose people more wisely. When you are desperate for someone to fill every empty space, you may ignore warning signs. You may accept attention from anyone because loneliness feels unbearable. But when your life already has purpose and peace, you become more careful. You ask whether someone adds health to your life, rather than simply asking whether they want you. This protects you from carrying old patterns into new relationships. Sometimes people believe they have healed because they no longer cry about the past. But healing is not only the absence of tears. You may no longer cry, yet still organize your life around fear. You may say you have moved on, but refuse to become emotionally close to anyone. You may treat kindness with suspicion and believe that needing someone is always weakness. This is not complete freedom. Sometimes emotional distance is only pain wearing armor. You can become so focused on never being hurt again that you also prevent yourself from being loved. The goal of healing is not to become unreachable. It is to become wise enough to remain open without abandoning your boundaries. Buddhism teaches the middle path. This means avoiding unhealthy extremes. One extreme is trusting everyone and ignoring clear warning signs. The other extreme is trusting no one and believing all relationships will end in pain. Wisdom lives between these extremes. You can be hopeful and careful at the same time. You can be loving and observant. You can forgive without forgetting the lesson. You can give someone a chance without giving them unlimited chances. This balance creates healthier relationships. Old pain may also affect how you see yourself. Perhaps the painful person made you feel unattractive, unimportant, or difficult to love. They criticized your personality, compared you with others, or used your weaknesses against you. After enough time, their opinions became part of your inner voice. Now, even when they are gone, you continue speaking to yourself in the same cruel way. You look in the mirror and hear their criticism. You make a mistake and repeat their insults. You hesitate before speaking because they once made you feel foolish. This is another way painful people remain inside your life. You must remove their voice from your identity. Ask yourself whether your negative beliefs truly belong to you. Were you always insecure about this part of yourself? Or did someone repeatedly teach you to feel ashamed of it? A cruel person may have called you too emotional because they did not want to take responsibility for hurting you. They may have called you demanding because you asked for honesty. They may have called you difficult because you finally created boundaries. Their description of you may have served their comfort, not the truth. Do not build your identity from the words of someone who benefited from your self-doubt. Learn to speak to yourself with greater fairness. This does not mean pretending you have no flaws. Everyone has areas that need growth. But growth requires honesty, not cruelty. You can admit that you made mistakes without believing you are worthless. You can improve your communication without believing you were the cause of everything. You can become stronger without hating the person you were. The version of you who stayed too long was trying to survive with the understanding they had. Do not attack that version of yourself. Thank them for surviving, then teach them something better. Tell yourself, I understand why I was afraid. I understand why I ignored the signs. Now I know more, and I will choose differently. Self-compassion helps you change without becoming trapped in shame. Shame keeps you connected to the past because it makes you believe that what happened defines you. But you are not defined by the person you loved, the mistake you made, or the pain you tolerated. You are defined by what you choose to build after understanding the lesson. A new life requires a new relationship with yourself. You must become someone who listens when your body feels unsafe. You must become someone who takes your feelings seriously. In the past, you may have ignored discomfort because you did not want to appear difficult. You may have accepted disrespect because you feared losing the relationship. Now, when something feels wrong, pause and examine it. Do not immediately assume the worst, but do not silence yourself either. Ask questions, speak clearly, observe how the person responds. A healthy person may not agree with everything you feel, but they will not shame you for feeling it. They will be willing to communicate. A harmful person may become angry simply because you asked for clarity. They may turn your question into an attack on your character. Their response gives you important information. Trust grows when both people can speak honestly, without fear. You also need to release the belief that every relationship must last forever to be meaningful. Sometimes old pain becomes stronger because you think an ending means failure. You may become afraid to begin anything new because you cannot guarantee it will last. But Buddhism teaches impermanence. Everything changes, including relationships. This does not mean love is pointless. It means you should appreciate it without trying to own it completely. A relationship can be meaningful even if it does not last forever. A person can teach you something, support you during one stage of life, and later walk a different path. Not every ending is betrayal. Sometimes people grow apart. Sometimes values change. Sometimes two good people discover that they cannot build a healthy life together. When you believe every ending must have a villain, you carry unnecessary anger. Learn to distinguish natural endings from harmful behavior. A respectful ending may still hurt, but it does not have to become hatred. You can grieve and still be grateful for what was real. This understanding helps you enter new relationships without demanding impossible guarantees. You cannot force someone to promise that they will never change. You can only ask for honesty while you walk together. Instead of demanding certainty, look for sincerity. Does the person communicate openly? Do they treat your heart with care? Do their actions remain steady over time? These qualities matter more than dramatic promises about forever. Painful people often make powerful promises and give weak actions. Healing teaches you to trust patterns instead of speeches. Do not become impressed only because someone says exactly what you wanted to hear. Watch how they behave when they are angry, disappointed, busy, or no longer trying to impress you. Character becomes clearer when life is uncomfortable. Someone may act loving when everything is easy, but become disrespectful when they do not get what they want. Pay attention to how people handle your boundaries. A healthy person may feel disappointed, but they will still respect your decision. A controlling person will treat your boundary as a personal attack. The lessons from your past should help you recognize these differences earlier. That is how pain becomes wisdom. Pain becomes destructive when you repeat it without learning. It becomes valuable when it changes the standards you use to protect your future. The goal is not to constantly remember the painful person. The goal is to remember what the experience taught you. Do not carry the person, carry the lesson. Carry the lesson that love without respect is not enough. Carry the lesson that repeated confusion is a warning. Carry the lesson that apologies without change cannot rebuild trust. Carry the lesson that your body often notices danger before your mind accepts it. These lessons make you wiser without making you bitter. Bitterness says, "Everyone will hurt me." Wisdom says, "Some people may hurt me, but I will watch carefully, communicate clearly, and protect myself when necessary." Bitterness closes every door. Wisdom chooses which doors deserve to open. You may still experience triggers in your new life. A smell, place, song, or type of conversation may bring back an old memory. Your heart may suddenly beat faster, and your emotions may feel stronger than the current moment deserves. Do not feel ashamed. A trigger does not mean you are broken. It means your mind connected something in the present with something painful from the past. Pause and remind yourself where you are. Look around the room. Notice 5 things you can see. Feel your feet touching the floor. Take slow breaths. Tell yourself, "That happened before. I am here now." This brings your body back into the present. You may need to communicate with the person you are with. Explain that the moment brought back something painful and that you need a little patience. The right people will not mock your healing. However, healing also means working toward a point where triggers no longer control every decision. You cannot ask the entire world to avoid everything that reminds you of pain. Some responsibility belongs to you. Practice sitting with discomfort without immediately escaping or attacking. Learn that a feeling can be intense without being dangerous. Every time you remain present through a trigger, your mind learns that the past is no longer happening. This process takes time. Do not expect yourself to become completely fearless because you decided to move forward. The mind changes through repetition. You created certain emotional habits over months or years, so new habits also require patience. Each time you choose calm communication instead of accusation, you create a new pattern. Each time you allow a trustworthy person to be kind, without questioning every motive, you create a new pattern. Each time you listen to yourself and leave harmful behavior earlier, you build self-trust. These small choices become the foundation of a new life. Do not compare your healing with someone else's. Another person may begin a new relationship quickly, while you still need time. Someone may appear completely unaffected, while you continue processing the experience. People heal differently. Moving quickly does not always mean healing deeply. Sometimes people enter another relationship to avoid feeling the pain of the last one. Take the time you need, but do not turn healing into permanent waiting. There is a difference between preparing your heart and hiding forever. At some point, life may offer you a new connection, opportunity, or experience. Fear may tell you that you are not ready. You may never feel completely ready. Courage does not always mean the absence of fear. Sometimes it means taking a small step while fear is still present. You do not need to give everything immediately. Begin slowly. Share one honest thought. Accept one act of kindness. Allow one safe moment to remain peaceful. Let trust grow through experience. You also need to stop testing people unfairly. Some wounded people create tests without explaining them. They become silent to see whether someone will chase them. They pretend not to care to see whether the other person will try harder. They create distance to see whether they will be abandoned. These tests may feel like protection, but they create confusion. Healthy people cannot read your mind. They may respect the distance you created, and then you may interpret their respect as proof they do not care. Speak about what you need instead of creating secret tests. Say, "I need reassurance today," or "I am feeling insecure and would appreciate an honest conversation." Clear communication gives the relationship a chance to become healthy. Testing someone creates the same confusion you claim to fear. You deserve directness, and you must also offer it. Old pain can also make you overgive. You may believe that if you become useful enough, patient enough, or loving enough, the new person will never leave. You begin doing everything for them. You ignore your exhaustion, solve their problems, and become responsible for their happiness. This may look like love, but fear is often hiding underneath it. You are trying to earn security, but love that must be earned through constant self-sacrifice will never feel safe. The more you give, the more afraid you become of stopping, because you believe the person only values what you provide. Healthy love allows both people to give and receive. You should be able to rest without fearing that you will become unimportant. You should be loved for who you are, not only for what you do. Do not carry the old habit of proving your worth into every new relationship. You do not need to perform to deserve care. Allow people to help you. Allow them to show effort. Notice whether the relationship remains balanced. If you are always giving while they are always taking, the pattern has not truly changed. A new face does not automatically create a new relationship. New choices create a new relationship. You must choose differently. This may mean walking away from people who feel exciting, but repeat the same unhealthy behavior you know. Sometimes the wrong person feels familiar immediately. Their emotional distance, unpredictability, or need for constant attention may feel strangely attractive. You may call it chemistry, but sometimes what feels like chemistry is simply your nervous system recognizing an old pattern. Familiarity can feel powerful, even when it is harmful. Healthy people may feel less exciting at first because they do not create constant emotional highs and lows. They answer clearly. They behave consistently. They do not make you chase them. Your mind may mistake this peace for a lack of passion. Give yourself time to learn a new kind of connection. Real love does not need to keep you anxious to remain meaningful. It can be calm and still be deep. It can be predictable and still be beautiful. You may need to retrain yourself to value stability. Pay attention to how your life feels around someone. Do you sleep peacefully? Can you focus on your goals? Do you feel free to be honest? Or are you constantly checking your phone, questioning your worth, and trying to understand mixed signals. Peace is not boring. Peace is evidence that your body does not feel threatened. Choose relationships that allow your mind to rest. Do not believe that you must fix every painful part of yourself alone before deserving love. Healing can happen inside healthy connection too. The right person may show you that disagreement does not always end in abandonment. They may teach you that honesty does not always create punishment. They may show you that someone can be upset and still remain respectful. These experiences can help rewrite old beliefs, but you must remain willing to receive them. Do not punish a healthy person because a harmful person taught you to expect pain. Allow good behavior to become evidence. When someone repeatedly treats you with kindness, let that behavior slowly influence your beliefs. Do not keep saying, "They will eventually change," without any evidence. Stay aware, but allow yourself to notice what is good. Healing requires both caution and openness. You must also accept that even healthy relationships will contain uncomfortable moments. A disagreement does not automatically mean the relationship is toxic. A mistake does not always mean someone is secretly harmful. Look at patterns, responsibility, and repair. When a healthy person hurts you accidentally, they listen. They do not tell you that your pain is foolish. They try to understand and change their behavior. When harm becomes repeated and the person refuses responsibility, it becomes a pattern. Learning this difference prevents old pain from making you leave every imperfect situation. No relationship will be completely free from misunderstandings. The question is whether both people can repair the connection with honesty and respect. You should not demand perfection from others because one person hurt you deeply. Perfection is another impossible form of control. Look for maturity, not perfection. Look for effort, not flawless behavior. Ask whether the person is willing to learn. You should offer the same willingness. A healthy new life will require you to admit when your fear creates unfair reactions. You may need to apologize when you accuse someone without evidence, become cold without explaining why, or use the past to judge the present. Taking responsibility does not mean your pain is unimportant. It means you refuse to let pain control the kind of person you become. You can say, "My reaction came from an old wound, but I understand that it affected you, and I am working on it." This is emotional maturity. You do not need to hide behind the words, "This is just how I am." Pain may explain your behavior, but it does not remove your responsibility to grow. The person who hurt you changed your life, but they do not get to decide your character forever. You still choose whether you become cruel, closed, controlling, or wise. Choose wisdom. Let the pain make you more aware of other people's feelings. Let it teach you the importance of honesty. Let it make you someone who keeps promises carefully because you know what broken promises feel like. This is how you transform pain instead of repeating it. Your new life should not only be free from the painful person, it should also be free from the harmful habits you learned while surviving them. Release the habit of over-explaining yourself to be understood. Release the habit of begging people to stay. Release the habit of accepting confusion because you fear solitude. Release the habit of calling disrespect a misunderstanding after it has happened many times. These patterns belong to the life you are leaving behind. You cannot create a different future while making the same emotional choices. At first, new choices may feel uncomfortable. Saying no may make you feel guilty. Walking away early may make you question whether you were too harsh. Receiving healthy love may make you suspicious. Do not assume discomfort means the choice is wrong. Sometimes discomfort simply means the choice is unfamiliar. Your old habits may feel comfortable because you have practiced them for years, even when they created suffering. Growth often feels strange before it feels natural. Keep choosing what supports your peace. Over time, boundaries will feel less cruel. Clear communication will feel safer. Healthy relationships will feel more attractive. You will stop missing the emotional chaos because your body will become used to calmness. You will understand that peace was never empty. It was simply new. There may be moments when you feel angry that the painful person forced you to do all this healing. You may think, why do I have to repair damage I did not create? Allow yourself to feel that anger, but do not build your home inside it. Yes, someone may have created wounds they never apologized for. But you are healing because you deserve a better life, not because they deserve freedom from responsibility. Your healing is not a gift to them, it is a gift to your future self. The person you become after this experience will make wiser choices. They will recognize patterns earlier and trust their inner voice more deeply. They will know that love should never require self-abandonment. This future version of you depends on the work you choose today. Do not let someone's harmful behavior decide the quality of every relationship you will have. Do not give one painful person authority over people you have not even met yet. There may be beautiful connections waiting for you, but you must enter them as the person you are becoming, not only as the person who was hurt. Carry your wisdom, but put down the fear. Carry your standards, but put down the hatred. Carry the lesson, but stop carrying the person. The new life you are building needs space. It needs space for trust, peace, honesty, and possibility. Old pain occupies that space when you constantly feed it. You do not have to erase every memory. You only need to stop allowing the memory to make every decision. You can remember and still move differently. You can feel afraid and still choose honesty. You can feel uncertain and still allow healthy connection. You can miss the past and still refuse to return to it. This is how freedom grows. It grows when you understand that the past may explain you, but it does not have to control you. You are allowed to create a life that looks nothing like what you experienced before. You are allowed to be loved without constantly proving yourself. You are allowed to feel safe without waiting for danger. You are allowed to trust slowly, speak openly, and leave peacefully when something becomes unhealthy. The painful person taught you what hurt feels like. Now let healing teach you what peace feels like. Do not bring old accusations into new conversations. Do not bring old fear into every moment of silence. Do not bring old self-doubt into the love someone offers sincerely. Pause, observe, and choose based on what is real. Your future should not become a punishment for what someone did in your past. The people who come after them should not have to fight a ghost every day. Most importantly, you should not have to continue living as though the painful relationship is still happening. It ended. You survived it. Now allow it to become a lesson instead of a permanent identity. Build your new life with stronger boundaries, slower trust, honest communication, and deep self-respect. Build it with the understanding that peace must be protected, but not hidden from. Build it knowing that you can love again without losing yourself again. The past may always be part of your story, but it does not have to write every chapter that comes next. You cannot build a happy life while painful people are still controlling your thoughts, emotions, and choices. Even when they are no longer physically present, they can continue living inside your mind through anger, regret, fear, and memories you replay every day. Letting go does not mean the relationship never mattered. It does not mean you suddenly stop caring or forget everything that happened. It means you accept that your peace, happiness, and future are more important than holding on to someone who repeatedly hurt you. Buddhism teaches that suffering grows through attachment. The more tightly you hold on to what has already ended, the more difficult it becomes to receive what life is trying to give you now. Some people were not meant to stay forever. They came into your life to teach you about boundaries, self-respect, truth, and the kind of treatment you should never accept again. Do not carry them longer than the lesson requires. Release the need for their apology. Release the hope that they will become the person you wanted them to be. Release the desire to prove your worth to someone who failed to recognize it. Your value was never decided by how they treated you. You can forgive without reopening the door. You can remember without returning. You can miss someone, and still know that your life is healthier without them. The healing process may not happen quickly. Some days you will feel strong, while other days the memories will return. Be patient with yourself. Every day you choose not to return to the same pain, you are becoming stronger. Do not measure your healing by how quickly you forget them. Measure it by how deeply you begin remembering yourself. Remember your dreams, your peace, your confidence, and the person you were before your life became controlled by someone else's behavior. Begin building again. Build calm mornings, meaningful goals, healthy routines, honest relationships, and strong boundaries. Build a life that feels peaceful when no one is watching. Do not build it to make the painful person regret losing you. Build it because you deserve to experience the life their presence prevented you from enjoying. One day, you will understand that letting them go was not the moment your life became empty. It was the moment space finally opened for something better. You will stop confusing pain with love, inconsistency with excitement, and attachment with loyalty. You will begin choosing people who bring honesty, stability, respect, and emotional safety. Your heart does not need to become cold. It only needs to become wise. You can remain loving while protecting yourself. You can remain compassionate without allowing people to use your kindness against you. You can wish someone well from a distance while choosing not to walk beside them again. Let the past remain where it belongs. It has already taken enough of your time, energy, and happiness. Do not allow it to take the life that is still waiting for you. The wrong people may have shown you pain, but they do not get to decide what the rest of your story becomes. That choice belongs to you. Choose peace over attachment. Choose truth over false hope. Choose self-respect over the fear of being alone. Let painful people go, not because you hate them, but because you have finally learned to love yourself. Then use the empty space they leave behind to build a life so peaceful, meaningful, and happy that you never again feel tempted to call suffering love.